Two on your side and investigative posts have teamed up for a look into a serious problem in the city of Buffalo.
The number of homicides in Buffalo is a tragic fact all by itself. But for many of the families, what's even more frustrating is there's a good chance, based on the numbers, that the killer will not be found. There were more than 60 homicides in Buffalo last year.
Now, less than a quarter of them were solved. Two on your side investigative reporter Steve Brown and Jim Heaney of Investigative Post have teamed up to expose the issues that have led to those numbers. Tonight, in part one, Jim Heaney explains what's triggering the violence and the impact of people getting away with murder.
Every school day, the Reverend Rodolphus Bones stands watch. At the corner of East Delavan and Grider, Bones makes sure that students get on the bus and headed for home safely.
We hope and pray, though, that some of these kids will go on to have successful lives.
Bones knows personally how lethal Buffalo streets can be. He's lost 3 family members to homicide.
I had a younger brother named Randolph Taylor. He was murdered in 1993, still unsolved. Then there was my brother by marriage, John Wesley Jr. He was shot in the head doing security for a party off Walden. Then there was the most recent one, which is my brother Randolph's son, Terrell Taylor, that was shot in December. And his remains unsolved as well. 3
murders, no arrests. Bones' story is Buffalo's story. Murder is commonplace, arrests are not. The body count last year was 62. In the rest of Erie County, just 5. Buffalo's murder rate is considerably higher than most other mid-sized American cities as well. That's the bad news, and there's worse. Most killers in Buffalo get away with murder, literally. In the last 5 years, only 39% of homicides have been solved. Put another way, 153 murders, no arrests. The people responsible for those killings are walking the streets free. And the odds of getting away with murder are getting better and better. The percentage of murders solved or cleared has steadily dropped the past 4 years, from 56% in 2011 to 42% to 34% to just 23% last year. Now, it should be pointed out that those lower clearance rates in 2013 and especially 2014 could increase as police have more time to work on those cases. The numbers are a snapshot as they now stand. The overall 39% clearance rate is widely regarded as unacceptable.
That's a very dismal record.
Erie County District Attorney Frank Sedita agrees.
Obviously, the solve rate is low. It's unacceptably low.
More than 3/4 of the victims are black. Much of the killing happens on the east side. People there live in fear, says Pastor James Giles. He's coordinator for the Buffalo Peacemakers, one of 8 grassroots anti-violence organizations operating in the city.
But they have the community petrified.
Well, yeah. What is the fear level in the community these days?
Oh, it's so high, it's shameful.
Anti-violence activists, police and prosecutors agree. Gangs are behind much of the violence.
A lot of it is gang-related. A lot of it is gang-related, and a lot of it is gang retribution-related. A number of people who have become homicide victims the week before they were prom homicide suspects.
In East Side neighborhoods, there are 2 types of gangs.
On one level, you have older, more experienced young men who, some of them coming from being incarcerated, who are a lot more in control, a lot more financed, and a lot more organized. And then you have another core group who are just mainly young men who are running around with none of that, but inspiring to be some of that.
As a group, Daniels describes them as
very dangerous and very callous.
Darius Pridgeon, a pastor and president of the Buffalo Common Council, says these gangs are hyper-local, neighborhood-based outfits, not citywide.
This isn't, the West Coast Blood and Crips where, it goes outside of the neighborhood usually.
And Giles says the neighborhood gangs are almost everywhere on the east side.
What percentage of of the population on the east side lives in a neighborhood that has that presence?
Oh, 80%.
Really? So most folks who live on the east side are living in a neighborhood that
Can
has
walk
a gang
out their
presence.
door and at any given moment hear gunshots.
Drugs are behind some of the violence, but much of it is fueled by social media.
A lot of stuff is said. A lot of threats are made on social media, right? And we know that, right? Because we're reading it. And then shortly after these threats are made, somebody dies.
The people left behind, like Reverend Bones, are left to grieve.
The pain of homicides, of seeing someone's life cut short too soon before they realize what their gifts are, is very painful, and especially when it's in your immediate family.
Much of the violence is different now than it was a generation ago. Erie County District Attorney Frank Sedita told me there used to be a twisted logic to many of the murders. Now, all too often, it's violence for the sake of violence. Steve, this is a big reason why we have so many murders in Buffalo and why so few of them are getting solved.
Absolutely. Tonight at 11, Jim and I will continue our investigation looking at all of the reasons behind Buffalo's murder problem, including the tensions between law enforcement. Scott and Mary Alice.
All right, thank you, Stephen. As Steve just mentioned there is a lot more tonight at 11, and we want you to know that our coverage of this very important issue continues 24/7 online.
Now, right now on WGRZ.com, you can watch extended interviews, you can view homicide information from the city of Buffalo, and watch a video that pinpoints where every homicide occurred in Buffalo in 2014. Plus, visit Investigative Post for an in-depth article on the homicide clearance rate by editor Jim Heaney.